Good afternoon. Call the meeting to order. This is the Standing Committee on Health. I'm John A. McDonald, the MLA for Hants East and the chair of the committee. According to the mandate, the Health Committee is established for the purpose of considering matters relative to access to and delivery of healthcare services. Today's meeting is an organizational to set some general meeting practices. We'll also hold an agenda setting to choose topics and witnesses for the next 6 meetings or so. Please set your phones to silent. During the meeting, please wait for your name, for me to say your name, and the red light in your microphone to come on, then you can speak. Now, I will ask the members of the committees to introduce themselves for the record by stating their name, their constituency, and how they'd like to be recognized. We'll go around the table. I'm a little different, as most people realize, so I will start with MLA LaChance.
Hi, Lisa LaChance, MLA for Halifax, Citadel, Sable Island, and they, them pronouns.
Rod Wilson, Halifax, Citadel, MLA, he, him. Sorry, Halifax, Armdale.
Ian Rankin, Timley Prospect.
Hi, good afternoon. Derek Marburkett, city member to he, him.
Nick Hilton, Yarmouth, he, him.
Ryan Robichaud, Clare, he, him.
Susan Corkum Greek, MLA for Lunenburg, she, her.
Adegoy Fallery, Tracy Park West, he, him.
And I go by MLA McDonald, chair, or he, him here. So what I'd like to start by going through on consensus is that this committee has met normally the second Tuesday of the month from 1 to 3. Is it agreeable that we continue with that? That's agreeable. During the House, okay, so during the estimates, sometimes it's harder to get witnesses, and as we know, health is a very busy part of estimates. Is there a desire only for estimates for the Health Committee not to meet? Is there any concern of that? MLA LaChance.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd like the Health Committee to keep meeting. Health is, the biggest focus of this government. We just, we fought an election on it. And I don't think we have more than enough important topics that we should be getting through. And I know that this is probably a pared down list that everyone has of other key topics. So I don't think that we should slow down our work as committee during the estimates process. I know it's tiring, but I think we should continue. And, estimates and this committee, I mean, it's very different processes and very different mandates. So I believe the committee should continue.
Okay. MLA Marburkett.
Thank you, Chair. We also agree that the committee should keep meeting. It was, something during our time in government we created this committee with the importance of healthcare across the province and how it's always evolving and the importance that all governments place on it. We would also support our colleagues with the NDP and the committee continuing to meet.
Any other discussion? I'm sorry. Thank you. I just realized I didn't even introduce the two people to my right and left. I went right into that. MLA Wilson.
Having worked in Nova Scotia for the last 30 years in healthcare and seen a dramatic change in 7 years, and having been told in a recent campaign that it was the #1 issue, and knowing that there's so many crises in healthcare, I think we have a responsibility to meet every 2 weeks, if not more often.
MLA Hilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There you go. Just get away for the red light.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I realize we ran on health as being a significant, the major part of our election platform, but due to the complexity of trying to get people here, witnesses here, I actually agree with holding committee meetings during that time. So I will make that a motion.
So your motion is to?
To move the Standing Committee of Health no longer meet during budget estimates.
Okay, so that's a motion. Any discussion on the motion? MLA Marburkett. I got him. Emily LaChance, Emily Mombercat has said you can go first. Emily LaChance.
I just wanted to clarify, I mean, we're really talking about two different mandates, two different functions, and two different witnesses. So if I look, down the list of, your first topic on integrated youth services, I mean, we're not calling Big Brothers and Big Sisters from New Glasgow. We're not calling YMCA to estimates. Estimates is the minister. These are, people working in government, people that, for us, we don't have access to on a daily basis, and folks on the government side do. So we think it's really important to hear these voices even during estimates.
Thank you. Emily Mombercat.
I should have maybe would have went first and said the same thing. Essentially, Mr. Chair, I don't see the rationale because, as my colleague said, estimates. We're asking questions of the department. We're asking questions that the deputy, other staff members are available with the minister to answer those questions. In health committee, we're bringing in multiple witnesses from across the province that bring a lot of perspective into healthcare that don't come to estimates. So, I would encourage that myself and my colleague are more than prepared to continue with health committee as we go through estimates. So they're two totally different things for me.
Emily Wilson.
With over 100,000 people on a wait list and in Canso, the Emerge closed for the entire month of February, and having worked in Canso, that's a big deal. How can we justify not meeting to discuss urgent issues?
Any other discussion? Ready for the question? All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, I think I heard it just before I started that, so recorded vote. Before we do that, I neglected, to my left is Gordon Hebb, legal counsel to the committee. To my right, Tamara, I'm going to butcher your last name, Nusabi. How bad? Oh, okay, the committee clerk. Recorded vote.
Emily Federa.
Sorry, where's the question again? For a few seconds.
Do you want to do that, or do you want me to?
What's the motion?
The motion is to. Mr. Hilton, could you repeat the motion?
I move the Standing Committee of Health no longer meet during budget estimates.
I agree to the motion, yes.
Emily Cochran-Greek.
Yes.
Emily Robichaud.
Aye.
Emily Hilton.
Aye.
Emily Mombercat.
No.
Emily Rankin.
No.
Emily Wilson.
No.
Emily LaChance.
No.
Emily McDonald.
Yes. You'll agree that it passed? So the motion passed. So to get back, the other thing is, I just want to check, the standing rule for this committee has always been 2020. I assume the committee agrees to keep it that way? Okay. There's a note on March break, but based on the past motion, it's not an issue because we won't be meeting in March, but normally would have to reschedule. The agenda setting, which will happen later. Oh, Emily LaChance.
Sorry, just to clarify, we won't be meeting in the legislature during a school break, and I know traditionally that's been like sort of a legislature break, but I would say that there's the possibility of a meeting in March after that. I think we should possibly still, I think we should still tentatively schedule a late March meeting.
Okay. So we have to go back to Emily LaChance's point, we can't meet in March break. So it would be either the second Tuesday of March 11th or the fourth.
There's no prohibition of meeting in March break.
It's in the Green Book. Oh, well, the common practice of this committee is that the Ledge Council has corrected me that the Green Book affects the House, not the committees, but practices the committees do not meet at March break. So it's which Tuesday in March, assuming that it's not in estimates. I'm just bringing up my calendar. So, oh, thank you. So if there's not estimates in March, when would you like to meet? Emily LaChance.
Well, I mean, just practically speaking, to get back on the right track for the next second Tuesday, it looks like March 25th. Because then there'd be 2 weeks, and then we'd be April 8th.
So you're proposing that we meet on the last Tuesday, which would be March 25th? Okay. Okay, so 1 to 3 that day is already a previous committee, which Natural Resources, which I just found out. So Emily LaChance, what time are you thinking? Because it can't be 1 to 3.
Well, I mean, I'd love to hear from other people
Okay.
on their opinion on this,
All right.
but I'm
Well,
happy to meet in the morning.
Okay. Any discussion on that for? Oh, Emily Hilton?
Thank you. I agree getting started is a good idea. I prefer after 1 to 3, 3 to 5, like we're doing today. Just travel from outside districts is far, but.
Well, so Emily LaChance.
So I don't know this for certain, but I think Ledge TV usually needs a few minutes to get organized. So, like, we can't go right at 3.
Oh, that's true. There is some time in between. Okay, so.
I mean,
So if the issue is we need to figure out if we're going to meet in March, we need to figure out a date and a time. So the date picked has a conflict. So is the only date that any in the committee wants is March 25th? I'm asking that question because March break is obviously the 10th to the 15th. Emily LaChance.
I mean, March 18th is a possibility as well. It's another Tuesday.
So I'll just reconfirm. Okay, so Veterans Affairs is 2 to 4. So if we're doing that, it would have to be a morning. Because I don't see any buffer in that one, obviously, with the thing. So does March 18th work in the morning instead? Okay, so Emily LaChance, just because you're doing, and I don't like to be running this. Emily LaChance, which time? 9 or 10?
Oh, let's do 10.
Okay,
Give us
so
some time.
so the date proposed is March 18th at 10 a.m.
Yes.
March 10 a.m. to noon. Sorry, I keep forgetting you have to tell the end time, even though we know it. Is that agreeable? Did you have a question? Your light's on green.
No, I
Oh,
don't.
okay, sorry.
No,
I don't. MLA. Okay, so we don't touch these. Just hands up, and if I don't see you, throw something at me. Mr. Adegoke, MLA Federo.
I think we're okay with that, right?
Okay,
10 to 12, sorry.
10 to 12. Okay, so that's an agreement. Okay. Clerk will make notice. I didn't miss anybody this time. Okay. We're going to wind up dealing with our topics in a minute. In the past, this committee has chosen 6 topics, 3 from the government, 2 from the opposition, and 1 from the other party. And the clerk will schedule. I'm guessing committee agrees to continue with that process. Okay. MLA Hilton.
Can you clarify the number of topics, please?
So, MLA Hilton. Wait till the mic's on. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you just clarify the number of topics? You said 2, 2, and 2, but I thought
No.
it was 3, 2, 1.
It's 3, 2, and 1.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's 3 in the government, 2 for the opposition, 1 for the other party. The This is a note just for me to read, that the website currently says if an organization or group wishes to appear before their committee, it should submit a written request to Legislative Committee Office addressed to the chair of the committee. After the request is received, it'll be discussed at a future committee meeting. The clerk always acknowledges receipt, then it shows up on agenda items in the future. MLA Wilson.
As a newbie,
Okay, good. You're good now.
As the newbie, why 3, 2, and 1? How does that been arrived at?
So as only 3 years and plus more than you, it was what it was before. It's been I believe, I'm not sure which one of the two would be the most, who would be the most. It's government has been 3, the opposition's been 2, and it's been 1. And I've been here for 3.5 years, and it's been the makeup, I think, pretty well of every committee that we've been on.
Other than tradition.
Okay, so just a sec. MLA Wilson. I did the same, trust me.
Sorry. Other than tradition, why 3, 2, 1?
My guess would be because the government would be running the government, so they'd have 3. The next one would be 2 to get to a total of 6. But I'm making assumptions. I wasn't here when it was first done. So, and just a second ago, I asked, everybody was fine. I'm assuming you have a concern with that?
I'm just curious.
Okay, MLA Wilson.
I'm just curious as to how that formula was arrived.
Yeah, so you have any add to more than what I said? Ledge Council.
There would be a guess on my part. I'm just assuming because the government represents half, but I have no knowledge as to what the rationale was.
MLA Wilson.
Is that something we could come up with a better revisit for a rationale for?
If the opposition or any member wanted to suggest it, I'm sure they can suggest it. It would be debated here. It just would not be we'd need a motion to make a change to it. At this point, we had mostly agreement that it would be 3, 2, and 1. So if, and I believe that motion could happen at any time, not just the beginning. Would you agree?
Be changed.
Yep. So it's not something that has to be done at this meeting. At any meeting, it could subsequently do it. MLA Wilson.
So are you suggesting we should have a motion before we continue, or I'm really asking for just some transparency as how it came to 3, 2, and 1, and so far I'm hearing it's tradition, but I'm not. So would the motion be to have someone report back or declare why we arrived at 3, 2, and 1?
Well, I would say that with the Ledge Council to my left and the clerk to the right, given the same answer is they're not sure, other than that would be their assumption. I don't know whether having them do a report to find that would be a good use. But I believe Emily Mumbercat's got something. Sorry. Oh, no, I just meant for him, not for you on this. I thought you wanted to say something to him.
No.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. MLA Wilson. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Thank you. And just as a habit, what will happen is when I start talking, they'll shut off everybody's mics. And MLA LaChance will tell you I've talked many times with the mic off and realizing it, so it'll happen. Okay, so that's how they always acknowledge it, and then it comes onto an agenda that we receive the document. To committee, the clerk emails correspondence to the committee as it comes in. This is just a process of when they come in. Until it's discussed here, it's still confidential, so we could get a document to talk about something. Until it's actually discussed at this, it's considered confidential and it can't be discussed. The agendas are, and that's emailed. The clerk doesn't print them out. So the next item is agenda setting. So the members have submitted their things that are somewhere on here for me. There we go. Thank you. Perfect. So who wants to go? MLA Corkum Greek.
Thank you, Chair. I move that the first topic for PC caucus be continuing care, seniors long-term care workforce initiatives with the following witnesses: representatives from the Department of Seniors and Long-Term Care, Nova Scotia Community College, Victoria Haven Nursing Home, and Northwood.
Okay, any discussion? Already? All in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. Second, MLA Federa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the second topic for the PC caucus to be the expansion of the multidisciplinary care teams with the following witnesses: representatives from the Department of Health and Wellness and Nova Scotia Health.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion passed. Next one, MLA Hilton.
I move the third topic for the PC caucus be integrated youth services with the following witnesses: Maureen Bremner, Director, Mental Health and Addictions, IWK; Daphne Hutt McLeod, Director of Integrated Youth Services, IWK; representatives from the Integrated Youth Services, New Glasgow, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and Integrated Youth Services, Halifax, the YMCA.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion passed. Who's next? Emily LaChance?
I would like to put forward, this was a topic that had been agreed upon and I think almost scheduled prior to the election. So I'd like to bring it back again, which is barrier-free access to contraception and sexual health services, including PrEP for Nova Scotians. The list of witnesses prior to the election that had been approved was Access Now Nova Scotia, the North End Community Health Centre, Wellness Within, the Rose Clinic, and the Sexual Health Centre. And I'm also recommending adding Dr. Kyle Wilby, who is the Dean of the School of Pharmacy at Dalhousie and has been leading like a pilot project in pharmacies around PrEP prescriptions, so would be able to speak to that.
Any discussion? Emily Hilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'd like to suggest that we add Department of Health and Wellness to the witness list as well.
Is that a motion?
I will move that the topic of barrier-free access to contraception and sexual health services, including PrEP from Nova Scotians, witness list be amended to include representatives from the Department of Health and Wellness.
So that's an amendment to their motion.
Yes.
Okay, any discussion on the amended motion? Or sorry, amendment, thank you. MLA Wilson.
Your addition, would that include public health, Dr. Rob Strang?
Just MLA Hilton.
Whoever we deem from the Department of Health and Wellness that might add some context to the subject.
Okay, MLA Wilson.
Dr.
There you go.
Dr. Rob Strang and public health would certainly add a lot to the epidemiology and the availability, the success of any type of program like that. So I think he would be an important witness.
Emily LaChance.
So can we amend the amendment?
So my colleague to my left has told me that's called a sub-amendment. You're allowed one only one.
At a time.
I know, at a time. So if, as you know, I love the point it's a sub-amendment. So yes, MLA LaChance.
I would like to make a sub-amendment to the amendment that the DHW representative be Dr. Rob Strang.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question. Okay, I thought so, but yeah. So MLA Hilton.
Do you want to finish
No,
making it?
no, MLA LaChance finished. She knew I was making sure I was right with something, and I was. So
Just, we're trying to keep the idea that we can bring any representative to Department of Health and Wellness, so we don't want to make it finite to one person. So for that reason, I'll be voting against sub-amendment to the motion.
Okay. Any other discussion on the sub-amendment? MLA Wilson.
I would suggest you could bring as
MLA Wilson, wait, just wait.
I
There
would
you go.
suggest, we're not suggesting one, you could bring a dozen. I would love that. So it's not just Rob Strang.
Just MLA Hilton on the sub-amendment.
The wording used in the sub-amendment was to make it exactly him, so it actually does make it finite to just that one person, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So the original amendment actually if public health falls under Department of Health and Wellness, would have included him anyway.
Okay, so, just a sec. Emily LaChance, then Emily Mombercat.
So, I mean, just as we're, working together for the first time and setting agendas, like, I do think often we do identify who we want. So, for instance, under the integrated youth services, specifically from IWK Health, we don't just say IWK Health. That could be a number of people could come in, like Leanne The Rock, like others, but we specifically have said Maureen Brennan and Daphne Hutt McLeod. So I think actually we do, and if you look, we do often identify specific people because we know that they're the people with the information that we want to hear.
Emily Mombercat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And really just a question through you to the member from Yarmouth is really, my colleague made a specific suggestion around Dr. Robert Strang, who has, as we all know, a wealth of knowledge on the subject. And I guess through you to the chair, my question is why would the member not want Robert Strang here?
Just one sec. So I just wanted to confirm before I went on to the next that the sub-amendment, as the clerk has got it listed, is that the sub-amendment was to add that Dr. Strang should appear not to be the only person. So I did want to get that clear so that at least the discussion can deal on what the sub-amendment was. Any discussion on the sub-amendment at this point? MLA Federo, and then I'll...
We're not suggesting that Dr. Strang can't come, but we're asking for flexibility, and that's why we've added Department of Health and Wellness to that list. That list was originally not created or added by the opposition. That's our suggestion, and that's because we feel like it's important for us to have context, and we recognize that at any point in time during the conversations, that's going to ensure that we want to have the best person who is able to answer those questions, and that's why we need it as flexible as possible. We're not trying to preclude Dr. Strang from this, just trying to make sure it's as broad as possible. Thank you.
MLA Hilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I worked public health for a number of years, worked with Dr. Strang. There's no question the man is extremely talented and intelligent, so that was not the case. When I heard the original motion, it was to make the Department of Health and Wellness representative Dr. Strang. And to my colleague's point, it's just about flexibility to be able to add anyone that might be able to add to the conversation. So,
Any other discussion? MLA Hilton.
just for clarity, what does the amended motion do to the original motion?
So the sub-amendment,
Yeah.
from what the clerk says, so the intent of the sub-amendment, unless the sub-amendment person tells me I'm incorrect, is to still allow the department to come. However, I'll let MLA LaChance answer it, then it's probably better.
I mean, I think that came out in further conversation, but I think I had meant Rob Strang. So I had specifically meant that.
The rep
as-
was to be?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can have another sub-amendment, or
No.
we can amend, not right now, later. And I'm just conscious too of like, it's a lengthy list of witnesses, so, having multiple people from DHW is probably not an effective use of everybody's time, but anyways, but just to clarify, I meant Rob Strang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Rob Strang.
Yeah.
Okay. You got that? Everybody, any more discussion on this? You ready for there? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. The motion has passed. The sub-amendment has passed. Now, to go back to the amended motion. Am I right? I'm right. Oh, the amendment. Okay, so we're, just a second. They just changed it. But, so I'm
We're now back to
Okay, so we're voting on the amendment as amended. This is why I don't like sub-amendments, just saying. It's okay, they're valid, so I don't have to like things that are valid. So, any discussion on the amended motion as amended, or
the amended amendment.
the amended? Any, MLA Hilton?
Can you please read the amended amendment, please, as transcribed, because I feel like it's confused now.
Okay, I'm gonna have the clerk do it. All yours, bud.
So the sub-amendment was to add Dr. Strang specifically from the Department of Health and Wellness, and the amendment was to add the Department of Health and Wellness.
No, the mover of the sub-amendment was very clear. The witness was going to be Dr. Robert Strang. So that's it.
Yes.
There's nobody else from the department if the amendment passes. For the amendment of the amendment, right?
So the
Okay.
amendment is to have.
Sorry, but what they're asking me now is, what's the actual amendment because of what happened? But MLA LaChance, you said yours was to make that is who the person was going to be. So we are just going to be reiterating that it's those witnesses plus Dr. Robert Strang. That's what I'm trying to make sure. That's what it is. That's who the rep from it is. So the amendment, okay, I'm going to call it what I want, which is the amendment, is that it's the witnesses proposed by MLA LaChance plus Dr. Robert Strang. That's the amendment.
The amendment is to add Dr. Strang.
Yep.
So I have to vote on the main motion.
That's, well, I got to vote on this one, then I get to the main, right? So we have two more votes. So that's the vote on this. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary say nay.
I'm saying that.
No. The motion is passed. Sorry, the amendment has passed.
The amendment is passed.
Now we get back to the actual motion, amended motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. The amendment. So we now have one for the opposition. MLA Wilson.
So the second item we would like to add is the primary health care attachment, including the physician wait list.
Sorry, somehow it got shut off. MLA Wilson.
Witnesses we'd like to include would be Nova Scotia Health, Nova Scotia Department of Health and Wellness, Nova Scotia College of Family Physicians, Doctors Nova Scotia.
Okay. Any discussion? Yep, the motion is for it to be primary health care attachment and the witnesses as in the report. MLA Federa.
I would like to suggest that the Department of Health Awareness choose representatives to send rather than the deputy minister.
The motion as read did not include the deputy minister, so it's actually anyone?
I want to move a motion then.
No, the motion as read did not list the deputy minister, so it's everyone. It's the department will let us know who.
I thought I heard Department of Health. I thought
MLA Wilson.
Given the importance, we would like to speak with the deputy minister.
So, Emily Wilson, you're wanting to make an amendment to your motion? Can you amend your own motion? I don't think so. Okay,
The committee could agree to,
you're going to agree to it, or?
it's up to you.
You're supposed to.
Doesn't strike me as correct.
So I'd be a lot happier if somebody other than the mover makes an amendment to the motion. If we weren't, MLA LaChance.
I'd like to move that the Department of Health and Wellness representative be the deputy minister.
Okay, so the amendment is that the witness Department of Health and Wellness be the deputy minister. Any discussion on that? MLA Hilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And it sounds like we're going to move an amendment to leave it, or actually, I'm going to vote to leave it the way it is because we want the same flexibility we had with the last one. So I'll be voting no to the amendment.
Yeah, and just to be clear, that's the only vote. You can't amend it to reverse it. So, Emily Mumbercut.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, it's a similar question that I had before through you to the government party. Is we have an amendment to have the deputy minister, who is overall responsible for the Department of Health and the policies and directives of the government when it comes to healthcare on this specific topic. So, of course, we would support any deputy that wants to come to this committee. They're tasked to do that as deputies, as the senior bureaucrats. And I guess I'm just looking for rationale of why the government would not want the deputy minister to come and talk about that topic.
Emily Hilton.
The motion read as is leaves the opportunity for the deputy minister to come and chat if that's the person that would best be qualified to answer the issue of the day.
Any other discussion? Oh, Emily Mumbercut.
Yeah, thank you through you, Mr. Chair, to the committee again. So, but I get the sense that the government side of the committee does not want the deputy minister here. Specifically, the amendment calls for the deputy minister to come. I think that's important. If we can get the deputy there, we would want the deputy of any department. We see it in other committees where the deputy of education has come and talked to various committees. It's normal practice for the deputies to come to these committees, and this is an important topic, one that the government has focused on and has campaigned on, and I think it's important that the deputy comes. So I would hope that the government side of caucus would see the validity of the motion, or the amendment to the motion to specifically have the deputy here, which is standard practice in all committees.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Oh, MLA Federa.
We're not saying that the deputy minister will not come, Mr. Chair. What we're saying is that we want to have flexibility for the best person to come at that point in time. We want a focused conversation, and we don't want a situation like where somebody would come and we have to go back to get the answers, right? So it's better for us to have the best person that would be able to answer the question. And if that also means the deputy minister will be here. We're not hiding anybody. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other? Emily Wilson.
Having worked with the Department of Health in the past and know the role of the deputy minister, and with over 100,000 people on a wait list, I think the deputy minister should be the most informed person on this and would be very valuable to be here.
Emily Mumbercut, to the amendment.
Sure. Just my final comment, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate the comments from my colleague. If there's no issue with, and they're talking about flexibility, then as indicated in the comments that it could be the deputy minister, then why not just support the amendment and have the deputy minister come?
Any discussion? Ready? All in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary, matter say nay. Nay. Motion. The amendment is defeated. We're back to the original amendment. Or the original motion, thank you. Emily Wilson.
So I heard 4 and 4. Are you voting?
No, you heard 4 and 5.
Okay.
So, trust me, I vote. So that's why Emily Wilson, you would have heard when I vote, I will say it after. That's why you'll hear me say 2 of either yay or nay. So, no. Thank you. Anything else, Emily Wilson, on that? No. Good. Any questions, debate on that now? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion's passed. Which gentleman? MLA Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the NS Liberal topic, I'd like to propose for a topic gender-based violence with the following witnesses. I'd like to see the Department of Justice, Deputy Minister. Also, I'd really like to see the representatives from Nova Scotians that have lived experience with the matter. Specifically, I'm putting forward Lynn Gallant Blackburn. She is a sister of Paula Gallant, a victim of intimate partner violence nearly 20 years ago in Timberley, and a recent author of a book telling her story and her advocacy with the government, as well as Lucy Bowser, who was suggested by Lynn, and she is a survivor from her estranged husband. They can speak to lived experiences, as well as having representatives from Transition House Association of Nova Scotia, representative from Willow House in Cape Breton, to ensure some regional inclusion with the matter, and representatives from Adsum House and representative from Byrony House. I'd like to move that motion today.
So, MLA Rankin, just to be, I don't know if it's Lynn Gallant in the last name or if it's just Lynn Gallant, so I just want to make sure we have the names correct. So if you could
Yes,
slowly make sure we've got those names correct. I wrote as quick as I could, but I want them on the record.
Right, so it's Lynn Gallant Blackburn.
Okay.
Her maiden name is Gallant, yeah.
Okay. And Lucy Bowser?
Correct.
Okay. Transition House, Housing?
Yep.
Willow House?
Willow House,
Willow, thank you.
Adsum House,
Adsum House.
Byrony House.
Oh. And just because the list that came in showed, I'm assuming that you're not moving the one for status of women.
We can add Nova Scotia Advisory Council on the status of women. I just wanted to make sure that we had witnesses from people with lived experiences, but we can include that as well. Yeah.
Well, it's just that when a party gives me a list and then they miss one, a whole list of it, I'm normally going like, did you really mean to?
Yeah.
So,
no, we can add the status.
we can leave
of
it
women.
off. It's up to you.
No, we'll add status of women. That's fine.
Okay. So does the clerk have all that? Okay. Discussion. Oh. Okay. Oh. MLA LaChance.
Just to say that we support this. We're
Okay.
obviously in an epidemic of gender-based violence, and we need to have a multidisciplinary approach to addressing the issue.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary, nay. It's passed. So just for scheduling, the clerk will do their best to get them scheduled. It's based on availability, so if for some reason two parties happen back to back, it's scheduling. It's got nothing to do with us. We've done that. MLA Rankin.
Thank you. And relative to the scheduling, I'd like to move a motion to give prioritization to the topic I had just suggested and passed under gender-based violence, given the urgency of the matter, which was underscored by my colleague from the NDP, and the no less than 7 instances of gender-based violence since October, since the legislature last sat. So I'd like to move a motion that gender-based intimate partner violence be given priority as the first topic for the Standing Committee on Health, the soonest convenience for the next topic.
Okay, so the motion's in order, but when those motions, I like email to the clerk for them to send out to everybody. This might have been the first time you sat where I'm here, so that's, but other MLAs, no. So is that something you have in writing that can be emailed to the clerk quickly? I mean, we're way ahead of schedule. It's not, I just want to make sure they see it, because the normal, from my understanding, it would be government, then the opposition, government, and then the other party. So I would just want to make sure that what everybody's voting on realizes, if it's moved, how it's going to happen. MLA Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I recognize that often motions are given in advance. However, this is the third committee that I've sat on so far, Human Resources and Community Services, and the government side proposed motions without giving any notice at all to committee members. So I figured that that was the now normal practice, given that how that is government, how they are conducting business. So I'd like to see a vote on this. I can provide the motion to see if committee members agree that this is indeed an epidemic and should prioritize when it is scheduled.
Okay, it's been sent to the clerk, and what we're going to do is take just a 3-minute recess, but I will submit, and my colleagues will admit that if I'm chairing, that comes through. So it's there, the clerk's going to send it. We're just going to take 3 minutes for people to get it and read it, and then we'll deal with your motion. Is that fine, Emily Rankin? Yes. Cool, thank you. We're in recess. Order. Committee is back. Everybody's received the motion. MLA Corkum Greek.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to speak briefly to this. We will support making this a priority topic. It is a priority issue in our province and sadly in our country, and there's much work to do. The loss of Elaine Mosier, who was a resident of Mahone Bay within my constituency, brought this issue very close to home. But I don't think at the same time we were fooled to think that it was not present. We do have to see the faces of this issue, and as government writ large, we have to be faces that sit across and discuss and find the way forward. So we will be supporting this motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. One thing, MLA Wilson, the clerk did find the rationale for 321, and it's been emailed to all the members. So, okay, so we have 6 items. So, the next thing on the agenda is the next meeting, which we have already dealt with through a previous meeting. So, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.